Hey, folks, it's Tuesday. Is that right? It's Tuesday at
I
like
heard it's Tuesday.
1:48 p.m. So it's time for Comic Industry Insiders Live, and right now you're in the pre-show banter, as we call it on the rundown. So banter, people, banter. How's it going? How's everyone
How
doing?
are things? Hi everybody. How's it going
It's
live?
it's Django Boren of Comic Shop Assistant.
He's always here. Look at this guy. What a wonderful
He
guy.
really is.
Brian,
He
did you
really
see the
is.
ugly Christmas sweaters I sent you and Django?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I did see it come up on my
Right.
thing.
Ugly Christmas sweaters that says that's not very data driven of you.
I love
And
it.
another one
I
that
love
says without data, you're just another person with an opinion.
I love it.
You all will have to take pictures at Comics Pro to use as Christmas cards for 2026.
We have Django and I have pins that say "data" or "it didn't happen," which I love.
Who would have
Interestingly,
thought that the ugly sweater phase would have just never died? Just going strong
Right?
still.
Need matching sweaters if we're ever in the same room again. I know, right? We were. I was hoping to go to New York Comic Con this year, but I don't think that is in the cards. 50% of it is because Yell's country is actively hostile towards my people, but the other half of it is that it's really busy right now saving comics.
Let's set the record straight.
Are you saving
We just wanted you to join the party because we're having so much fun over here.
No, I know, it would be fun. You know what's hilarious is that if the Republicans understood Canada in any way, shape, or form, they would not want us to be part of you because you would be the most democratic.
Didn't we just say we weren't going to discuss politics?
Yeah.
Canada's Conservative Party is like
just
Biden era Democrats, right?
Just throwing that out there. Didn't we just say we weren't going to do
I
this?
know. We're not gonna.
And,
we're not gonna talk politics.
We're on the EXP where we don't do this.
We're talking about my sovereignty.
We're just talking about why you're lucky to not have to go to New York Comic Con. Let's be real.
I want to go though.
Some
I don't
people
get to see
think
my
it would be pretty
friends.
cool
I haven't
to-
seen my friends in so long. Do religion next. All right. Well,
You want to know how to get people into comic shops, folks? Adam's never going to let me on the show again.
It's true.
As a card-carrying Protestant, and the funny thing is, you're not even doing the bad things. It's me.
Although ironically, I was at a
Adam and I were here
convention.
together.
I was at a convention this weekend where those two topics in comics were like the most prevalent two topics in comics.
Religion and comics, or
religion and politics. Yeah, no one was talking about superheroes at all.
Yeah.
Nope.
There were a lot of people talking about genitalia too.
That's prone to happen at SPX,
Yeah.
but
So SPX, man, like wild. Like I've never seen a convention where if you weren't talking about those three topics, you might as well not have gone. Like we had the group I was with, we had aliens come back to study Earth after Earth is no longer inhabitable, so they discover Vegas instead of like a normal place, and they just wanted to know what the aliens thought of like Vegas's strip clubs. It's like what not a part.
Aren't we about to find out?
Superman.
Aren't the aliens coming? It's not a rock?
I don't know.
Oh, the big cigar-shaped thing in the sky.
Yeah.
the
No,
best
that's
part
the flying
is that
spaghetti
Cigar-shaped
monster.
thing in the woods.
It's the flying spaghetti monster.
might be.
Only
But
the
SPX
Pastafarians have been right.
Yeah. But at SPX, so people like are so into the books they read. It's wild. You go out into the hallways and on the patio, and there's people. Books are open. They're nose deep in
You
it. Like they're in
posted
their own
that
world.
there was like a ton of people just sitting around reading at the
Yeah.
show. What is you said SPX? Like what kind of trade
Small
show is
press.
this? What is it? Small press? Okay.
Yeah,
It's
like
a great show.
Silver Sprocket, Fantagraphics, and Drawn and Quarterly are the biggest publishers there.
Yep. Occasionally, Top Shelf will have a
They
really
were there too.
yeah, they have a nice table. Same spot pretty much every year, but lots of zines, lots of things that retailers might not necessarily carry in their stores, but great books that have been put together by people with a lot of heart. It's just a little different than your Cape and Cow.
Is it comic and graphic oriented or is it prose too?
Mostly comic and graphic. No, novels.
Well, I said this on somebody interviewed me, and I don't know why they chose to interview me. I think I was just the least scared of the camera, I guess, that they came across. But they go, what do you think about SPX? And I go, you go to a big con like a New York or a C2E2 or whatever, and there are a lot of folks there that you feel like are maybe opportunists, right? They see that they can make money in comics, and they get into comics, and then they fall in love or whatever. These are the people who have to make comics because otherwise, like, their head would explode and they would itch their skin off.
Yeah.
Like, it's in them. And they're printing their books with the $26.87 they have left at the end of the month, and they go to Kinko's and go, this is how much I have, how many copies can I run? Like, and I love that because they're just, that's, so, like, I met Dennis Kitchen, and I've met Dennis before, but I really got to talk to him at the show. And if it wasn't for Gary Reed, Dennis Kitchen, Art Crumb, Art Spiegelman, and in a big way, Harvey Picar, I probably wouldn't be in comics. Like, I would have had no interest in it because the undergrounds were so prevalent where I came up at, because of the Detroit, Cleveland, CCAD in Columbus, that kind of thing, all around me. So, like, those are my people, and I felt incredibly uncomfortable. But, like, the other fun thing was I wasn't wearing a mask. And I go, I've never felt more like somebody's Republican uncle because I'm one of the 5 people not wearing a mask at this convention.
Oh, I'm in Kansas City in Missouri, and so like I barely see people in masks. The elderly around in the Midwest seem to wear it, because they're nervous about getting sick. But I didn't even. I kind of it's weird. You kind of forgot about it. You go out and see it, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember when that was like a thing.
Oh, yeah.
No,
we're still in the middle of a pandemic.
SPX is one of those shows that I will go back to every year from now on, and every year I will comment, gee, they need 25% less vendors or 25% more floor space, one of the two, but then I'll just love it the rest of the weekend. I'll just sweat and be uncomfortable and have claustrophobia, but then be in my element with all the comics.
It's one ballroom filled with the entire wall-to-wall space, double back-to-back rows of everything. It's so packed full of people and product that you don't know where to look. And then you get like FOMO, like, where did you find that? Even trying to find somebody like, I'm at B6, like I am lost in the throng of people, but they're all happy.
Right. You're at C7 and you can't find B6.
Nope.
Right. Like, that's the kind of show this, but again, great. And you know what? It was nice to go to a show where I didn't feel like, oh, hey, over there's the section of people who like sell Scentsy candles or whatever the hell and makeup and like everything was comics.
There's somebody who joined another pyramid scheme and they've put their whole life into it. No, this people are actually putting their whole lives into comics, and it's glorious.
I mean,
it was
isn't
great.
comics just the best pyramid scheme ever? There's got to be some way it could be a pyramid scheme, but like the good kind.
I was at the London Comic-Con, London, Ontario Comic-Con this weekend. I set up for his 519, and it's like my first kind of semi-big show where it was like a 2-day thing, and we had like a kind of fun booth that was set up, so it was an experience to go into it. And I'll show you. I can pull up my Instagram. I can't believe Robert Redford passed away.
I know, that was sad.
Yeah. You can kind of see my projector right here. Like, once we're done with the show, I'm totally watching The Natural, just like in memoriam.
Yeah. So we had a little kind of internal booth where you'd go into it, and so I kept comics on the outside, and I was changing them up every few hours. I'd change up what was there, but I kind of kept the Batmans and the Murder podcasts. I sold a ton of both of them, and then we had this kind of cool little shelf set up, and then wall of comics, and then we did those prints, and I think I sold like 8 of the prints over the weekend. Oh, that's my that's my little banner. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, like being amongst the people and getting people into different comics and doing the stuff I used to do, which was like kind of almost a comic concierge, where you ask them, what are you into? You don't love comic, you're not into comics yet, but like, what kind of music do you listen to? What's your favorite TV show? And then just busting out what they should look at.
I
Sold
wish
a bunch
I
of
was
exquisite
better at that.
corpses too.
Like taking stuff that people like. Oh, you should check, like, like you like this and this and this. And
Yeah, you like Dexter? You should read Beneath the Trees. You like Magnificent Seven and stuff like that. You like Kill Bill? Check out Exquisite Corpses.
Yeah, that's one of those things that, like, I don't know, I'd been in retail probably 6 or 7 years before I realized, oh, I'm kind of good at that now.
Yeah.
Like, and now it's, again, I'm at a convention and I'm a hired gun this past weekend. I'm just working for a publisher and they're like, here are our product. I've not read any of it. Well, I've read one of the books. But it's like, okay, I can do this. If you like this, this is the book for you. If you like this is the book for you. Just based on elevator pitches at this point.
For sure, yeah.
All right, we gotta start the live show.
All right.
Have fun, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
See you, everyone. Hey, welcome. It is Tuesday, and that means it's time for Comics Industry Insiders Live. And yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. It's me and not Adam, but I'm joined by my lovely and talented co-host, Blake Morgan, who's usually behind the controls, manning the ship. But today, he and I are both going to stomp all over each other and hit buttons. And it's going to be terrific.
It's going to be wonderful.
Good. Oh, it's going to be so smooth. I can't wait. So what are we talking about this week, Blake? I've been kind of out of the loop.
Well, that's funny because we're talking about you, sir. I've heard stories that you're here to save comics, and that's the big topic.
Okay, listen, it's a bald-faced lie, and I don't appreciate that people are sabotaging me like this. And I've been saying it with my tongue firmly in cheek, but now people are actually looking at me to save comics, and I'll be honest, I didn't set out to save comics. I might be in over my head here, folks. So you're about to be really sadly disappointed as we talk for the next hour about how Brian Garside is going to save comics.
Well, the good news is if you don't save them, you're in real trouble.
No.
So the stakes are high. It's interesting though, because you always hear talk of, like, before we get to the news and stuff, right? But you always hear talk of comics need saving, and it was I remember like when digital happened and they said print media was dying and then it survived. And a long time ago I had a conversation with Neil Adams. I met him at a little comic shop in Kansas City, and no one showed up really early, and I showed up early thinking there's gonna be a ton of people. We were talking, and I asked him, I was like, are you worried about like digital comics? Everyone says it's dying. And he was like, Blake, comics that's what cave paintings were. And we've been around since then, and we're going to be around tomorrow and longer. And he goes, no, I'm not worried about it. And I was like, whoa, but why do we keep then coming back to this, that comics needs? Do we just need the drama, you think?
I've been alive for 53 years, Blake, and comics have been dying the entire time I've been alive. And I'm sure they were dying before I was alive. So I personally think that they've never been as strong as they are right now. I've talked about this a number of times, but we have an entire generation of kids who is about to hit their 20s, where they have, money and can spend things, who have been literate in comics since they were in diapers. So think about that for a moment, that like there's a point where if you don't read comics by mid 20s, early 30s, it is really hard to understand the language of comics. These are kids who have been steeped in it since the very beginning. Dogman, Captain Underpants. Captain Underpants was around when I was in my 30s, and that was a long time ago. So these kids are hitting their like 20s. They've got money. Manga has been marketed to them. what I think the big opportunity for comics is, they've been getting scholastic book fairs when they were in public school. They get to high school and there is no scholastic book fair. So comics kind of disappear for them, and they have to go out and find them on their own. And for me, like, that's when comics became dangerous, because when I was in my like high school years, that's when Alan Moore's Swamp Thing was hitting the stands. That's when Watchmen was out. That's when Dark Knight Returns was out. That was when, you know, comics were no longer biff bang boom, and they were a little dangerous, and you didn't really want your mom to find them in your backpack. And I think things like Vertigo coming out, Ignition with their kind of more mature storylines, that stuff is going to be the thing that gets kids hooked on comics again. And if you talk to any like high schooler right now, and like I only do because, you know, my kids are in high school. It's not because I'm like some creep hanging out on the high school parking lots, just so we're on the same page here. The Absolute line is their books. They're like, my son sells the crap out of Martian Manhunter, Absolute Martian Manhunter. He loves that thing and shows it around. So yeah, I think we're at the precipice of something really, really special in comics. And I think it's like, we're going to see a real resurgence of a lot of different stuff in the next 10 years as these kids who've been brought up on the language of comics really have an opportunity to participate in it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. But before we get to the headlines, you said something that intrigued me, and I never thought about it until now, because I still remember the excitement of a good scholastic book fair, of spending my parents' hard-earned money on a dope Ferrari poster and some sweet Goosebump books, right? Like, and all like, you'd buzz from it, right? You'd feel alive. Like,
yeah.
You know, like the simpler, easier times. But they do go away in high school. The book orders go away in high school. That's weird, because that's when you start to check out. That's when it gets tempting to do the bad stuff, right? To screw the establishment, to go against the grain. And so it's odd that they don't try to like remind high schoolers that books are cool, that reading is cool, it's a good escape. And it's not like nerdy and lame to read, right?
No, 1,000%. And like, there's tons of, like, we should have Shannon Live on here, because Shannon Live will tell you there's tons of studies that show you that reading comics is reading, and that it enhances your vocabulary. It makes you able to process complex thoughts and feelings and emotions. It's just, yeah, reading is reading. So yeah, we've always encouraged our kids to read like whatever. And my son reads a ton of comics, and I think like some of his ideas come from like some of the things he's exposed to. So it's really great. Rebel with a cause, getting to the comic shop. So true.
Oh, I mean, especially now with all the like with book banning and everything else going on, right? I remember when they started banning like Mouse, and it was just like, whoa,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
We're in a weird spot. But yeah, I know we're not wanting to talk.
Tommy mentioned comics have been dying since Frederick Wortham. Have you seen the Eric Powell book, Worthless? That's all about I love like the seduction of the innocent, and just reading about the whole Frederick Wortham scam. This was a man who was a psychologist who basically like brought up this whole comic panic in the 50s. And his whole thesis was that comics were contributing to the moral decay, and he's the reason that we have the Comics Code Authority. He was proven to be a fraud. He lied to Congress. You know, he made up his entire study. It was all cherry picked with like really, really suspicious science. So the story, I've just started reading it. It's really good. It's a little dry. It's not as good as Did You Hear What Eddie Gein Done, which is by the same team.
That's a special slice of horror.
Such a good book. That was such
coming
a good
up
book.
On spooky season. Worth checking out. You can probably get it from Brian's shop. Maybe, I don't know, or you can order it for you.
I don't think I have any right now. We're like plumb sold out.
Just kidding. Don't go to Brian's.
Yeah, that's one of those. That's one of the earth519.com. That's one of those books that like, yeah, I get it in and sell it quickly because I love it so much that I'm
still remember
always
the
talking
nipple.
about it.
I was like press, like I was Hardcore Comics Press when that came out, and I got an advanced copy of it and read it and reviewed it, and oh man, just his draw. I was like, man, I've wanted to interview him for a long time, because I I feel like art, like writing it, you have to get into the mindset, you know, and go into those dark places too. But with art, you have to sit on those pages for hours and those images for hours. That's your whole day, like hunched over, drawing this flesh of a nipple and thinking about how it would look under certain lighting. You have to like think about weird stuff like that. And I feel like that's got to get heavy doing a whole graphic novel of that, you know, like you got to go to, you got to take the family to Disneyland or something after that, like to wash it off.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of like amazing graphic novels, I don't know if everybody's read Spectators that just came out. I think it was like last week. Yeah, it was like the 10th. Graphic novel by Brian K. Vaughan and Nico Henrichon. It is beautifully painted. Same guy that did Pride of Baghdad. So it's like beautifully painted just like that. And there's a lot of nudity in it. And it's just an awesome story. Really, really fun. Ghosts in New York City and how they haunt people, and you know that some of them don't know that they're dead or why they're dead. It's so good. I really, really enjoyed it. Wow. Check out Spectators. In better comic shops.
I hear that Saga's a pretty hot book these days.
Yeah, you know, it's not bad. Yeah, a couple people have read it. Man, I wish like that is a book that if it wouldn't have kept on having these massive hiatuses, I think would still be, you know, 80, 90 copies, but it really has dropped off since they've kind of disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
Django, I read Spectators in public at a 21 plus restaurant, shielding the nudity from other people in the place. Yeah, and there's a lot of nudity.
Hey, you know, so sometimes that's how you got to tell the story.
Absolutely. Tommy says, is it as emotionally devastating as No, nothing will ever be as
God, that was a heavy read, a heavy, short, sad, intense read. All right, that's another good one to pick up.
It would be, you know, I would not be doing my job if I didn't jump in and pimp the bullet. So everybody, go to pranadm.com right now, and you can click on the weekly newsletter sign up. It's right here. And that will take you to a page, which by the end of tonight, I'm going to embed this onto an actual web page. So this will take you to the sign up where you can sign up for the weekly bullet. Every Friday, you're going to get a recap of the week's best stories. And you'll probably see a couple of them before we talk about them here the next week. So definitely get on there, get signed up, check out Prana DM services, all kinds of great services. And this website is evolving and getting better even as we speak. So
very nice looking website.
You know,
looking tasty.
I hear that the dude that built that, you know, he's kind of famous for trying to save comics.
And he's pretty exclusive. You gotta know people to get him to work.
You really do, yeah. You approached me about something. You approached me about something a while ago, and I was like, dude, I have got no time until like December right now.
It was just so busy. I get it, but it was so fun. This is what everybody tuned in for. But I told a friend, I was like, dude, I work with a guy who like just designed a couple comic websites, and he was like, whoa, dude, like that would be awesome. Like I helped him with like some Kickstarter stuff. So like every time he asks me something, I have like a little idea for him, you know, and so like I always have like a little help for him. And then I was like, oh yeah, never mind. So I still helped him with a Kickstarter. So
I love it. Django says saving websites too. Are you? Well,
one at a time.
I did make this little Pacific Nerd West website one night. It's Django's.
They're very clean. Your websites are very like clean. Like I love how like clean and like modernized they are. Like I use
this template called Divi that lets you like kind of use all these custom elements, and it kind of tends to make them really, really clean. So they're pretty, you know, straightforward and simple. But yeah, it doesn't take a lot of time to build some of these things. The key though is like good visuals. If you don't have a great visual like this, it's really, really hard to make a good website. Mm-hmm. So if you have good visuals, it's really, really easy to make a good website. By the way, if you're in the Bellingham area, check out the Pacific Nerd West convention, which is happening on October 25th in downtown Bellingham. If you're a vendor, you can go and fill out a vendor application. If you're a volunteer, you can fill out a volunteer application. So you can find out they're going to have Eric Powell, Mark Russell, and Matthew Southworth and a bunch of other folks that are coming. So definitely check out that. That's a free plug for you there, Django. It's we'll send you a bill later this week. Should we get into some news, Blake?
Should we get into some hard hitting headlines?
I think we really should.
Man, that alliteration. Whoever's making these graphics doing a great job.
He's stellar. We're we don't want to get his head too big though, because it wouldn't fit in frame.
No. Yeah, we gotta keep me calm.
So big news for digital comics. Talk to me about this one.
I'm intrigued and irritated. I know like the market and sort of competition is good for everybody, but what's this mean for my Marvel Unlimited subscription? Like, we just got all the Star Wars comics. Now they're talking about this. Okay, I'm on a rant. We're not talking about the news, but Disney and Webtoon have combined to combine forces that are both notorious for just hounding money, but they're going to have a new comics platform. They like the scroll feature of Webtoon, apparently. Disney does. And that's what intrigues me about Disney has a lot of comics. Mm-hmm. Okay, like what are we all going to be forced to? Are we going to be forced to scroll, Brian? I don't know what it means, man. I don't know.
What a terrible life. What a terrible life.
These are our problems.
So what's the deal behind this one?
So they're talking about all the titles that Disney has and what could be available. They haven't named the service yet, so there's nothing about pricing and service. They like the scroll feature. They like the Webtoon popularity. I think what they really like is how when you can read Webtoon for free, and when you really get into it after you read a few, it's like, hey, you got to buy it. I think that's what they're into is another way to kind of funnel money from these because that's what everybody talks about, right? Is they don't make money from these comics. That's why they're focused on like the toys, the toy lines, the movies. And everybody's worried about what's going to happen to our comics. Not everybody. Some people are worried, but yeah, I
so is the idea of this that they're like, have they said that they're going to shut down Unlimited? Or
no, they have not, but it's another service. And if they're going to put brand new Star Wars comics, I mean, I know it's dangerous to assume, but it's got to have some kind of subscription based fee.
Well, they have a lot of stuff like the It's Jeff and they've got quite a bit of that. What's it called? I think it's called like unlimited comics, right? The kind of more bite-sized pieces that start out digitally and then that they go to print. We could just be seeing a bunch of that stuff really hitting a wider audience, because just having it exclusively to Unlimited might not be as widespread and appealing as this. And I'll tell you what, as impressive as these things are, that same generation that we've been talking about also has like a love of physical media. And so this is going to get an audience, but it's going to be a very different audience than the physical comics media, which is why I've always said like DC Unlimited, Marvel Unlimited, or DC, whatever the heck it's called. They're not competing.
DC Universe Unlimited Ultra, I believe.
There we go.
Is the top tier service.
Yeah. They're not competing with physical print comics.
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah.
And even with like, even with DC off, for $11 a month or whatever it is, 120 a year, even with a month, like a month after shelves, you get them on DC's service.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at, even with DC giving their subscribers a quick release to their library, how many, you were talking about it, how many of those blind bags of Batman 1 did you, like, that was, the world went crazy for him. They're still going crazy for him.
Yeah.
There's still hot auctions on eBay all over the place.
And there's still enough of a like FOMO culture that people want to read things the week it comes out. They don't want to wait a month, because the conversations happen in that first week. They don't happen, a month later. So we're lucky that we haven't become the streaming world where you're not allowed to talk about something forever because I haven't watched Kill Bill. Like, that's not my problem. Man. It's your problem that you haven't watched Kill Bill. Tommy says Webtoon has a much bigger audience than Marvel Unlimited, right? This seems like a possible expansion. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a massive platform.
And I think, like I said, all those like Unlimited exclusive digital things probably will have a better home on Webtoon than they would on Marvel Unlimited.
The one thing I am and kind of excited about, only because I'm a current subscriber, and I think a lot of us are. If you watch if you're subscribed to Disney or like the Hulu Disney package, but they've mentioned Disney Plus in the article, but not how it will be implemented. So like I kind of wonder if it's going to be included in the Disney Plus subscription or it'll be an additional fee. Remember when DC first launched their service and you could watch comics on the TV? And it was like kind of cool. It wasn't great, but it was different and kind of fun. Like, so, I mean, there's potential in like the Disney Plus implementation of things. And yes, like more comics to more readers is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
But you know, I've heard stories of how Disney and Webtoons treat creators, and have them both together seems like something needs to keep them in check. If there's like a lot of money in them together, is just my opinion. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. Unknown 869 says, I use Marvel Unlimited to catch up on series I could never find or missed, or to read up on upcoming movies. Yeah, for me, it's like if there's a piece of a crossover that I didn't see, I'll use that. Or my favorite one was they released the House of X, Powers of X stuff, but they did it in a different order. Like, it was like a zipper order so that it all made linear sense. And it was really cool to read it that way. And I think I would love to see more of that kind of stuff where you're taking advantage of the medium to do something you couldn't do in print without, literally cutting a magazine apart and rebuilding it. I think it's really neat. Tommy says, if this somehow gives me a new Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane series, I'll be so happy. You're most likely to get it here. Most likely. What's our next story, Blake?
Well, the next one is, I guess it's kind of a send off. Previews is dead, and it's
devastating.
And some people are sad, and some people are not so sad about it. But I think we all kind of knew this was coming, tied into all the headlines recently. Like, this wasn't a super big surprise to people, I'm guessing.
Yeah, for sure. ICV2 has a really good story about this. And ICV2, of course, is by Milton Grape, who was key to Capital City. And I believe even the name ICV2 comes from the Capital City catalog, which was called Internal Communications. So, yeah, very sad. Former editor Marty Grosser posted on LinkedIn that it was done. And it went digital, I think, 2 months ago. So the writing was really on the wall. Mm. I'll be honest, I'm not super sad. Like, I think it would have been cool to have a much smaller version of the print catalog, but that thing was a beast. I hated shipping it. It was 2 kilograms, which is 4 pounds.
I don't know what that means.
It's 4.4 pounds. Like, it's ridiculous. The amount of money that I would spend shipping that stupid thing.
We do we do have our coworker and sort of producer of the show, co-producer of she's a co-producer of the show.
Absolutely.
Executive
producer.
I call her the Prana operations manager because I feel like she does everything. But Megan Marston is a long-winded intro. Oh wait.
Yeah. Sound effect word, yes.
You had crickets and this is the worst.
Oh, I'm getting fired again. I'm getting fired from comics again. But Megan's this was a big part of your life for a long time.
It was. I was a brand manager at Diamond, but before I was a brand manager, I helped put previews together every month. I was in charge of collecting the ads, sending out opportunities for people to advertise in previews, discussing what previews was at shows with people who come up to the Diamond booth and go, can I get one of these statues and one of these? And you go, no, we're not actually selling things here. Yeah. This is what you go buy at your comic book store in 3 to 6 months because you're looking at a Japanese import. It's beautiful though, isn't it?
Go put this in your luggage and then have your luggage weigh too much to get on the plane.
Yeah, but I'm sad because this was a 37-year-old work of love for sure. Marty. Marty did 445 issues. Alan did about half of those. Alan Gibson, lovely human beings that they were, put so much work into it. There was nights you would leave because the catalog had to be to press and your job was done, but theirs wasn't. And they stayed 7, 8, 9 o'clock to make sure that this behemoth of a catalog got out every month and coming up with themes. There was Marty worked on an original comic that was in it for a while. And back in the day, the brand managers got to write reviews about things. And it was a great, yes, it was a catalog, but it was also one of the rare pieces of printed comics communication
100%,
to the outside world. And people would hang out in the shops. And if you didn't buy it, maybe the shop had a copy you could flip through.
Yep.
And or you'd be weird like me and subscribe to it every month and then not know what to do with it when you're done with it. But it's really sad that, to me, that it's gone because these people worked so hard. Even the last digital issue was only 98 pages.
I know, right? That's crazy. Compared to like over 600 pages, which is what they were before bankruptcy.
Yeah.
That's,
back
absolutely.
in the day.
I used to get them and I would like tear out the stuff I wanted, you know, and I would like put them in this. I had the old Xbox 360 Telltale Walking Dead special edition that came with the compendium with the variant cover and a big old box. And this Walking Dead box, I would keep like all my preview scraps in it and bookmarks and like weird stuff I got from Kickstarters and stuff. But I would like go through it, you know, like every now and then. And when I had like, if I had some extra money or whatever, and I'd be like, oh yeah, you know, and I'd like buy treat yourself box kind of deal. But it was, I understand, like it wasn't perfect, but you know, I remember when like DC left, right, and they weren't part of that catalog anymore, and it just made it so much harder to track releases. And then with like, even like after COVID, like years after COVID, with like shipping schedules and stuff still messed up, you know, and it was just like, it got harder and harder to track this stuff. And now without it, you know, it's almost like someone should step up and do something.
Yeah.
I wonder who could do something along those lines.
The things that I really liked about it that, you know, it's going to be hard to replicate are things like the gems of the month and the little like tidbit editorial things that were at the front that spotlighted things and made them stand out. And what, like you mentioned DC leaving, but even before that, Marvel kind of created their own insert that then got inserted into previews. And there was a time where, you know, there was still Marvel inside of previews, and then there was the insert inside of previews, and then that went away. And then slowly, like as other publishers started seeing that kind of stuff and doing their own, Image had their own magazine for a while. DC has gone through a multitude of different magazines that have been, at one point, like they were produced by the Wizard guys, and they were really cool. I think they were all Direct Currents back then. So there's been a bunch of different attempts to do something similar to that and not get buried inside of that massive catalog. But that behemoth was just like the one constant for the last 35 years.
Yeah. And it's wild that, to me, that it's gone, even in the digital format, that there was nothing to keep advertising at this point.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Gems of the Month helped me order things that customers might have missed. 1,000%. Like for the longest time, I used to create an email every month that would go out to all of the Managed Comics stores, and then they could send them out to all their individual stores. And I used to just crib off the Gems of the Month and then flip through the Marvel catalog and flip through the DC catalog and find the interesting things there. But yeah, it's that's a big loss. Big loss.
And I'm just gonna say, open invitation. If Marty or Alan ever want to come on here and tell some stories about what it was like to put those on and all the other fun things about the behind the scenes of previews. I know I've heard a bunch of the stories, but I'm sure people who didn't appreciate it for what it was at the time would be absolutely gobsmacked to learn
Yeah.
some of the things that happened when putting that catalog together.
As an editor of this show and the person who's putting our content online, I would love us to have some stories like that to share with our growing audience. That would be awesome. So yeah, like we'd love to have you. And I hear the bummer because any kind of long running publication, especially in our industry, you know, like print is magical. It's special to us, you know. So
Yeah.
and this has been a thing that we've all been tied to, you know, whether you're like staring, you know, lustfully into its pages, like dreaming of stuff to put on your shelf, or if you're a retailer thinking about what are we going to sell, you know, the next couple months, what are the new hot books going to be? How much, you know, it was a tool and it was a big tool for the industry there's a big void.
It propped up UPS for years. So true. So true. And I mean, there's a whole whack load of a specific type of newsprint that now is available for purchase in bulk somewhere. You know, there's some printer that has just a whack load of that stuff ready to go.
Oh, and they're just like, what are we going to do with all that?
100%.
I didn't even think about that. That's why I love the show and I love editing it, and it's fun to be on it too. But you all make me think so much differently about an industry that I've worked in for years now, but loved and been semi-obsessed with my whole life. And every week you guys say something that like I've never thought about before from like a retailer perspective or a store owner, you know, like you guys should subscribe is what I'm getting to.
Yeah. That's a good point. Like let's smash those subscribe buttons. Let's hit the like. Let's do all that good stuff.
You owe Nikki $1.
There we go. Every time we say smash the subscribe, we owe Nikki $1.
I'm going to start saying that. Yes.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Megan.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, Megan.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Nikki
That
could really
idea
use
is
the $1 too.
I love it. What's up next, Blake? What are we?
Well,
what are we talking
I mean, there's really no better segue than to get back to what we were talking about earlier, and this magazine that's no longer a magazine, and this means of ordering and finding out what's coming, and you know, you mentioned the other day just how, like, you know, there's different product codes now for stuff, and there's no easy way to really, you know, not everything's together in easy places. Like, you can find it, but it's hard to find, or it's
For sure.
time consuming to find. And you know, when you're a consumer, you're easily distracted, right? Because I got to play Borderlands and I don't have time to look up codes. And you got books to sell, you got high schoolers to raise, you got a family. You know, time. The older we get, time is very, very precious. I'm learning. I turn 40 next month. I'm learning.
Oh my goodness, you're a child still. You're a child. I love it. So yeah, you know, with the death of Previews, unfortunately, also comes the death of PreviewsWorld. And PreviewsWorld, for good or ill, was a place where everything lived, right? Like all the comics were here, and you used to go to this little catalog button. And if you were a retailer and you wanted to know some more details about this Invincible figure, is this a figure? Oh yeah, these are the new ones. No, these are the old ones from Diamond Select Toys. If you wanted to know more about this, you would have the information here. You'd have the stock code. You'd have this. You wouldn't have the UPC code, which would be super helpful, but you would have the Diamond stock code, and you could save it. If you had Pullbox, you could save it to your wish list or your items. Pullbox was a whole thing where people were able to create literally pull boxes for their retail store to add things. It was only stuff that was available from Diamond mostly. I think there was usually DC stuff, but you know, a lot of stuff outside of that wasn't really available through Pullbox. And yeah, there was also editorial things here. So you had editorial stuff about new products coming out, and they would kind of group things together in different and interesting ways. And of course, this is where the digital edition of Previews lived, although you had to paradoxically buy the digital edition of Previews back in the day. Now you can just download it like you should be able to. So all this stuff was on PreviewsWorld, but with the loss of Diamond as a going concern, it's a real hole in the industry. And Tommy says when Pullbox worked, it was glorious. I think everybody really appreciated the ability to the 3 months in 2019. I have thoughts, Tommy. I have thoughts. But one of the things that like everybody, myself included, used it for was just to discover things and to find things. And if you do a Google search for, like random comic name, usually Pullbox was one of the, or PreviewsWorld was one of the first things that came up because they did a fairly decent job at SEO. So we have this new thing called Managed Comics Oryx, which is our replacement for Previews Pullbox for RMH stores. We're also going to use that for different point of sale platforms. So just straight up, Managed Comics for Shopify will be there forever. Everything that we do on this new version gets moved back to the other version. Everything that new that we create on the Shopify version gets moved up to Oryx. So it's like, these things will all have parity. It's if you're on the Shopify version, don't fret. We're not abandoning you. The things that I'm going to show today, though, are stuff that is new. And because it's new, we can do some things that we've never done before. And I'm super stoked about it and really excited about it. I was afforded the luxury of taking literally a month to just like think about what my version of the perfect comic site would be, both as a retailer and as a consumer. And so I came up with something that I like. And it all started with like this ridiculous pink and purple color scheme that I really fell in love with one night. And then just started building kind of all the pages around it and what those things look like. So it's a relatively simple thing that people can use. Its whole goal is going to be to have everything. So every catalog, no matter whether it's Marvel, DC, IDW, like all platform agnostic, will carry all the different codes. So you'll be able to see all the codes for things. You'll have all the different covers that you can see. And eventually this is also going to be the front end of our pull side for our Oryx customers, so that when an Oryx customer wants to subscribe to something, or just somebody using Managed Comics Oryx wants to subscribe to a thing, there'll be subscription and pre-order buttons here, just cute little buttons, which you're not going to see here. I really thought about things from a data perspective too. So everything is going to use the Comet standard, which is cometstandard.com. It's the comic book metadata standard for comics. We've got series information. We'll have reading orders, publication timelines. Eventually we'll have crossovers, because we do have in Comet crossover data. So we can bring all that stuff in. Categorization using BISAC codes. And all this data already exists that we've been maintaining for the last 5 years. So now it's just putting that front end on that data and making all this stuff visible. Things are going to be a little simple in the beginning, but we are building all the tools to be able to have unique descriptions for every company, to have unique descriptions for every creator. At some point, I want to get some crowdsourcing involved in this stuff and start popping stuff through more than just me. But yeah, this is kind of the thing that I've worked on for the last month and that my team is now wiring up. So this is what the kids call a high fidelity mock-up. And I built all the back end kind of partials and everything to make it easier to actually wire everything up. But yeah, it's this is my little piece to help have that one place where all the data lives, where we can find it really, really quickly as a retailer, and where as a consumer, you can find like everything that you want to read.
Yeah, and know how to pre-order stuff, which everybody keeps yelling at us to do, and it's not always easy to do. It's usually pretty easy. So like you should pre-order your books, but sometimes you don't always know when they're dropping, or like, there's lunar codes instead of diamond codes. So you have it all there. You have everything ready.
And if you come here through your store, so you're in Bob's Comics, the entire thing is going to look like Bob's Comics. So we have a whole back-end system that lets you upload your icon, upload your favicon, all that good stuff. And then every page, when somebody is logged in through Bob's Comic, will look like Bob's Comics with a nice little header, your footer info. I also want to have some about us info for every individual store, so that they can have store hours and things like that really, really easily built. And we've got some really, really cool tools behind the scenes that will let you set your colors and even do little things like accessibility checking to make sure that your colors aren't going to violate some contrast standards, which would make them hard to see for hard of sight people and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what I've been working on for the last month. It's been a real, chore, but we as an industry really need stuff like this. And I'm not the only one working on things like this. Like Django at Comic Shop Assistant is definitely working on this kind of thing as well. I take back all my jobs, but you're not actually Savings Comics. I think you've done it. I don't know if I've fully done. Yeah,
I think you like data stuff, right?
I love data.
Tommy's wondering if you maintain this database, or is it something that the retailer would need to do on their end?
Yeah, so we've been maintaining this database since 2020, and even before that, we were kind of building it back in 2015. So this is data that we maintain, and we update constantly from all of our distributor partners. I'm currently working on getting new distributor partners. We're really close on Simon & Schuster. We've had conversations with Ingram that I don't know if they'll go anywhere because they want $100 per store that uses our software. And I'm like, God, I got a thought. No. How about no? But as the distributors start to see what the benefit of this is, and by the way, the benefit is that they get more orders, because when a store knows that somebody's going to order, that they have 25 pre-orders of a book, it makes it a lot easier for you to go out on a limb and say, okay, I'll add another 10 or another 5 or whatever. If you don't, then you're just going by your gut and you're saying, I think I can move 12 of these. And you're probably going to be a little more conservative than if you know that you have 25 copies ready to go.
That's so cool. I'm excited, and I know you've put a ton of work into this. Someone, Tony Kate says, what POSs is Oryx gonna work with?
So right now, Oryx works with RMH, which is Retail Management Hero. It's basically kind of a comic suite replacement. Comic Suite, Comic Suite. We also, within the next week and a half, will work with Lightspeed, and then we're looking at a couple others like Square and Clover, but I make no promises about that. That's the kind of stuff we're going to look at in 2026, which is so effing close. Like 2026 is 3 months away. So I think we've got plenty of work to do for the next 3 months. But then we'll start looking at other things. And my goal is that Managed Comics is like a Rosetta Stone for any other system. If Django ever decided to, make the deal with the devil and use our data, then there's no reason why it couldn't work with Comic Shop Assistant. There's no reason why.
I think if you add a print button, you may win him over.
Yes, you can read it all in bed. Yes, we'll have. You know what? I've been talking to a company about doing print on demand stuff. Maybe we'll just have every month the entire catalog print on demand.
You mentioned
Canadian devil.
For like a regular person like me, that I don't know a lot of the point of sale stuff, and when you guys start talking metadata, my eyes kind of cross and I hear big words and get scared, but that's okay. I'm here to learn. But where does this, you said it comes from Comet? Is that where like all these new listings come from? So is it up to the publisher and these boutique publishers to put the information of the covers in on, they upload this stuff and get it into the database? Like, how do the new comics get updated and put into the system?
Yeah, it's a great question. So right now we have deals with all the distributors, and we're actually ingesting their data, 3 times a week right now, so that we're constantly getting the updates. And eventually I want to go to like an overnight job that just we'll update everything every midnight, probably 1 a.m. because PRH drops their stuff at 12, and then it'll take a little time to process it and things like that. Comet is really just a standard. So it's like, if you're familiar with the book trade, there's a standard called Onyx, Onix, I believe. I always want to say Oryx because that's my thing, but I'm pretty sure it's Onyx, which is just like a way of displaying the data. With Comet, it's like we have defined all the different pieces of data and what each one of them does. So that's not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for the implementation guide. So if you ever go to the Comet Standard website, you can actually download a sample file and see all of the fields that are required to, oh, for the love of Peter, Mary, and Joseph, just one moment, please, because apparently my browser forgot who I was and is freaking out.
I love Google, but yeah, sometimes it gets you.
If you remember, I rebooted my computer before we started this thing because I was having weirdness.
I had the wrong audio input selected, and it was echoing, and we thought it was you.
I was going to throw you under the bus.
I remember that part.
But so we have all fields, and then we also have like a required fields document. And basically, if somebody provides us with the required fields, it gives us everything we need to create a product. The bare minimum we need is either a UPC or an ISBN or an EAN, and a title and a price. That is like the absolute barest minimum that we need, price in US dollars. But if you start to really layer on all the other data, like initial order dates, FOC dates, on sale dates, original catalog dates, publisher names. I think item type is one of the main ones too, because for taxation purposes, we need to know, is it a comic? Is it a book? Is it a toy? One of the latest ones that we'll be adding are the HS codes for tariffs, because those are required for like pretty much all products. So it's a living standard that does grow and become better over time. And really, if anybody provides us data in this format and can provide it to us regularly, then we're going to carry their stuff. We're still kind of growing out our capability to bring on new publishers and distributors quickly. So Django says barcode, title, price, and category are the required fields. Got to be able to make it unique, find it, sell it, and tax it. Absolutely.
How big is your team?
Tiny. We are 5 people total. I've got 2 full-time people plus me, and then a part-time data person, and then a special projects person, and my ops person. But yeah, this stuff that we've been doing lately is all setting us up for success to hire more people and do more cool stuff. So we're pretty small right now, but we also don't want to be super, super huge.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I managed a team of 26
you
previously,
and
I hated it.
Brian, you don't want to.
I technically am. I prefer to call myself El Presidente.
We don't like the title anymore.
Yeah. No, there's going to come a day where like this is not something that I can continue growing. That day's not anywhere soon, but there'll be some day where somebody else will be the boss of me, and I'm okay with that. I just want to build cool crap, and I don't need to, manage accounting and manage all the people and I just want to build cool stuff.
And it sounds like you kind of said that earlier, like over the last month, you kind of got to, I mean, you obviously had other stuff going on, but you got to kind of like brainstorm for like almost a month.
Dude,
I got to execute it.
I got to write code for the first time in years, and it turns out that I'm getting better at it. So yeah, it's all this like there's AI coding platforms that help you do things, and like it would take me 2 days to scaffold, which is like build the framework of something. But you can now tell like an AI thing to build you the scaffold using this framework and this, and then it generates all the code, and you look at it and you go, yeah, that's pretty good. And then there's like autocompletes now that instead of an autocomplete used to just complete a tag, but now it'll complete like that whole section. and you can just review it and be like, yes, that's right. So AI stuff is being used by companies like Shopify and Lightspeed and all these companies that are doing tons and tons of coding, and it's really getting rid of the monotony of writing 10,000 lines of code when you can just write 15 words that say do this thing.
That's cool. See,
but
that's
yeah,
how I think AI should work. It should make your life easier, not like
it should
take the joy out of it, right? Like,
and the key is that you have to know enough to know what's going wrong,
Yes.
because it will also hallucinate and do stupid stuff. So you have to know, you have to have enough of a fundamental to know that, no, this is a dumb thing that it's done. Or like for me, I know a lot about SEO. Yeah, that is the best use of AI. Absolutely. I know a lot about SEO. So I told it to go and find me the best practices on how to make a page rank really high for SEO. And it did. And then I looked at it and I said, yeah, these 3 things are unimportant. These 2 things are super important. This one thing is paramount. It is absolutely important. And then these 2 things will make the listings look better, which you didn't even mention, by the way, AI. So I I literally spent 8 hours just tweaking and fine tuning the algorithm for how it's going to generate SEO stuff. And I think that's why this will be, rank high. All my stuff ranks high because I'm a marketing guy who loves algorithms and stuff. So yeah, I think we'll be able to rank high for all these products and make it so that it's easily found. And if your shop uses Managed Comics or one of our partners, you are going to be found before competitors.
That's awesome. I was just about to ask, like, when it does roll out, or you do, or if you do like a beta test or something, like, do you have like a list or anything people can sign up for, or is it gonna?
Yeah.
Or like,
if people go to managedcomics.com and click on the wait list that's right at the top of the page, you will get onto our wait list for Oryx. And I don't want to. I'm not gonna say how you'll find out about it, but at New York Comic Con, we have an ad in a publication that will be coming out, which is all around this. It's not even going to talk about Managed Comics. It's going to talk about the name of this product, which is not, by the way, managedcomics.com. But I'm not going to tell you what it is today. That's what they call a tease in the industry. So by October 9th, you will know what it's actually called.
That's exciting. Hey, a New York Comic Con reveal is always a pretty exciting thing. I feel like that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's why I can't go to New York Comic Con this year, because I'll be making things happen back here. Oh goodness!
Is the ad? I know you can't reveal. Is it did the person who does all your illustration do the ad? Like,
yeah.
Brian guy.
We were just looking at kind of a. I wonder if I can find it. I might be able to share it in our screen. Craig just no, I can't. He actually just showed it to me on his iPad today. Yeah, Craig drew it. Craig actually has a book called Willis the Sheep that people should check out. It's available in better bookstores. And he was actually just at the Guelph Comic Fest on the weekend doing his first live appearance, which is pretty exciting for him. So yeah,
that's awesome. That's
yeah.
Having your, I like your branding, and I love the animated, and it looks good on stuff, and it's kind of silly, and and it's, I don't think it's just the look on their faces. It's just, I dig it, but like it's interesting. It's interesting branding, and
yeah, we're trying to do something a little bit fun, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but comics are supposed to be fun.
That's what
So
I heard.
we try and make our brand fun, rather than just a plain white and black kind of screen. We want to make it a little bit fun and interesting. So we're actually just working on this new website right now that'll be live, and hopefully by the time that our New York Comic Con announcement and everything happens, we'll have this thing up.
And you've been busy.
Yeah, I only sleep like 4 hours a night lately. I gotta fix that very, very soon, or I'm probably gonna give myself a stroke.
No, that sneaks up on you. It snuck up on me last week.
Yeah.
And then I kind of took a breather over the weekend and like went and saw Demon Slayer and played Borderlands, and then like I've been paying for having a self-care weekend since, well, I guess today's only Tuesday. It just feels like it's been a long time, but
I know
yeah.
I was at that con all weekend and didn't really respond to many emails. And my goal was like, unless something was on fire or literally down, I'm not going to respond to things, especially things that can be answered by reading the manual. And it also, teaches people to fend for themselves. So I didn't respond to anything, and I was planning on taking yesterday off. And I spent 14 hours yesterday responding to emails. So maybe not looking at emails all weekend was a mistake.
Yeah, that's,
who knows?
I mean, I know everybody's got a different definition of day off, but a 14-hour day of being in the office doing emails.
I did not get to
that
take
is
my
not
day
a
off.
day off. That
No,
is,
I didn't get.
That's
to
like a ninth circle of hell, dude. That's
Yeah. Yeah, it was not a lot of fun. It really wasn't.
as Adam likes to remind you, at this time we're over time. I know we try to keep things a tight hour. But I've just been having so much fun chatting with Brian and hearing about how he's going to save comics in this new system, and it is super exciting, and I guess already looking super clean, and how it adapts to the different accounts and branding of the clients that use it is so slick and cool. Before we got a couple shout outs we got to do, but is there anything else that you'd like to say about about your oh wait, it's early. It is. It's early.
Yeah, we are. We got 5 minutes. Yeah.
I forgot because I was looking at the live counter.
Oh, I see.
It said we were at 1:06, but it's at 1:50. It's I'm not good at telling time, folks. I'm good at a lot of things.
I was going to say, I'm usually pretty good at timing this show. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Brian sent me a private chat message like, dude, what clock are you looking at? What time zone are you at? Where are you? No, anyway. But we are running out of time. So is there anything else that about Oryx that you'd like to say or encourage, or anything we didn't talk about?
Yeah, we did a live stream last week where we kind of went through a bunch of the stuff. So definitely folks can check that out. If you just go to the Managed Comics YouTube channel, you'll find it as the most recent live thing we did. So feel free to check that out. If you're on the wait list, then you're going to get our weekly, at this point, emails about where we are in the things we're doing. Built a bunch of really cool new features recently that I'm really happy about. And one of the nice things about being a client as well as the owner is that I get to kind of prioritize the things that I really want higher than necessarily anyone else. So the things that I want tend to be things that a lot of stores have asked for too. Things like the thing that we just built was a email campaign tool that allows you to create email campaigns around specific segments. So you want to send out an email to both your Batman and your Deadpool people. You can build that really, really quickly in Managed Comics. And then the next iteration of that will be to create segmentation rules that you can ship over to Shopify and let Shopify send it out. Or potentially eventually like MailChimp if you want to use the MailChimp API or anything like that. Those things I think are really fun. And now that we've got all the big architectural pieces like multi-location and just like better communication with Shopify and soon with Lightspeed, we can actually work on the things that I really want to work on, which are like the fun projects.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as a retailer yourself, like you mentioned, the quality of life, there's no one better to understand the quality of life needs to make your day-to-day easier.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody on the weekend about I used the Shopify point of sale at this thing and at the event, and my scanner conked out twice during the 2 days. And if you've ever had to look a human being in the eyes for 30 seconds while you frantically look for a bunch of comics, there's no bigger, more humiliating and horrific thing in your life than frantically typing in words to hopefully find the thing you're looking for. And why in God's name the zero quantity items come up first, I will never know. So yeah, it's little things like that where you actually see kind of the quality of life and how you can improve it. And yeah, it's I think our product's gotten a lot better since I started the shop back in January.
Wow. That's cool, man. I knew you did some of this stuff. I didn't know you were super tech dork wizard.
Yeah, I'm a little,
I
like
do
not
more-
a super dork, but I'm pretty dorky.
I think it's awesome. Like, I mean, hey, learning this stuff, you know, I remember being younger and like, you know, when everybody trying to like learn HTML codes for like our little tiny websites that we made and stuff, and like our Zanga pages and stuff. And my friends always had cooler ones, but even now, like I'm learning about design stuff and graphic design things, and it just, you know, this a new element of tech that I never knew I would have to like learn. And I like people with digital and technological know-how just really impressed me, because I used to have it when I was younger. I could like take apart computers and fix them, and now like I don't even know how they partition the drives anymore, Brian. Like, you know, it doesn't even make sense.
It's a muscle, and if you know how to use that muscle, like, you know how to learn. If you like, I've always said to my kids, like, what you actually learn in school isn't important, but the ability to learn how to learn is what's important. And that's the thing that you have to focus on, because you will never stop learning. The day you stop learning is probably the day that you're kind of done, you know, in whatever field you're in. If you think you know it all, somebody younger and better is going to pass you by very, very soon. So yeah, stay humble and keep learning.
That's really good advice. And also very true. Like either you're done, or you're burned out and you need to take a break. Because that's,
well, 100%.
You know, when it comes to, but yeah, it's that when it comes to that, like, I'm good. I'm perfect where I am. Like no one's ever.
Yep. Then everything's going to go by you. If you stand still, the world will pass you by.
Oh yeah. That's cool. Also, that is the first 4-letter word I've used. I was warned.
Nice. Nice. Look at that. We made it almost through the whole show.
Almost through the whole
Congratulations.
thing. So yeah, we're gonna do a few shout outs real quick. Just at the end of the show, we got a couple things coming up on the Prana side. Some very cool comics you should check out. First of all, you should, all of you, if you are not a retailer, you should walk into your nearest comic book shop and tell them to order The Last Spartan Red Tape by Christopher Priest, Tyler Main, and Renee Geerlings. It's a wild ride on 2 wheels. Frank Kane is insane, and he's going to get this little girl back no matter how many parole violations he's got to break. All laws and risks are out the window. All right, he's a man on a mission, and the mission is nuts, and it's high octane action. It's also got a really cool charity involved with it. The Deliver Fund uses some of this technology we've been talking about, metadata, just like social media analytics, to track these bad people, these human traffickers. Proceeds go to, a portion of the proceeds go to that charity with every issue ordered. The 22nd is the FOC. So we got to tell your shops
this Monday coming up.
Yeah. So call them, get on the phone, tell them you need a copy. It's a great trade paperback. It's printed great, looks great, art's wonderful.
And it's
definitely
$29.99 Freedom units. This is the Canadian equivalent of those
Freedom.
So,
yeah. So a little cheaper in Freedom units. And then it'll drop in shops on the 15th.
Which is my birthday, October 15th.
Oh, you're in October. I'm the October 27th. Nice.
Oh, look at that.
See, I knew we were jamming. We were jamming.
That makes you a Scorpio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm an emotional man, Brian.
I'm all about the balance, baby. Libra.
I try and balance it out. It just doesn't work all the time. Next up,
sorry. We're both pushing it.
Next up, we got The Future Is Volume 2 Origins live on Kickstarter right now. This campaign is really cool. Volume 1 was a one and done mission. These group of hackers, cooler than the Avengers, went to attack this lunar base. The bad guys have won. It's similar to the news now. The people in power are people you don't necessarily want in power. And these people are trying to take society back and make it better. And they're using tech and their hacking skills to do it. It's wild. It's espionage. It's a little Matrix, a little tech noir. Very, very cool. It's live on Kickstarter right now. We're funded. But you know, we still got a ways to go. And our goal is 500 backers. We're at 110, right now. So they're coming in, and, you know, Brian talks about his websites. I built this page and I'm pretty proud of it. I will say I got it looking pretty slick. But you can see the art and action, the writing. Fred Van Linte is such a great, awesome writer. But the cool thing about this, and you retailer and retailer focused viewers will dig this. This is a weird Kickstarter. Our tier 1, you pay $25, you get back $25 and a PDF of TFI Origins Volume 2. That gift card that you get back is going to be to your local comic shop. So every pledge, every backer, we are going to get them into comic book shops. The whole mission of this is to get people from Kickstarter into comic shops, back to Kickstarter. There's a fusion here that we believe in, and that we think both markets and communities can grow and learn from each other. That's what we're trying to do with this campaign, and get an amazing sci-fi comic. There's tons of cool bonus stuff. If you're in the cybersecurity tech world, there's training packages and services you can get at an extremely discounted price. If you want to get into tech security, cybersecurity, the same. You can get these training materials at a highly discounted price to kind of give you a leg up in job searching. These Black Hills Information Security is a very, very cool company. Recca Publishing, or Recca Comics, I'm sorry, does their comics. And, we work with them at Prana, and they are great people making great comics with a good message behind it too. So if I didn't sell you on it, it's pretty cool, and you should check it out.
Absolutely. And your next plug is for
the Book of Jusko. It's when we did this, we all had to figure out how to say Joe Jusko's name correctly. The Book of Jusko. We are in our final few hours, less than 48 hours left, so it's about to get nanners. We're about to see that last minute pop. We got a lot of people following the page. This has been an astounding campaign that has blown all of us away every single day of the campaign. It funded in less than in like 7.5 hours. And then every day has just been an escalation and surprise. This is Joe Pruitt's first Kickstarter campaign. And, he had hopes, we had dreams, but when we hit that 100K, it keeps going. And so it's been amazing. Over 900 people are supporting this project. It's so cool. Joe Jusko is an amazing. I got to talk to him and kind of interview him, and he's so cool and down to earth. And he's just like, I guess, man, I taught myself how to draw. I guess people like it. He's so humble, and he has this decades-long, 4 decades of career, and he's over 230 pages, amazing art. There will be the regular edition. We're trying to get that out into shops. That's a later project, but like the Masterpiece edition, the slipcases, these are limited, the signed cards and stuff. The campaign is going to be your easiest, most secure way to get them. Otherwise, it's going to be like a luck of the draw, because these are limited. So,
and for those of you who are kind of wondering what this kind of thing looks like, so Joe Pruitt also did all of the Desperado books from IDW. So these beautiful, beautiful art books. They're just gorgeous. This is the Tony Harris one. I've got the George Perez one back there. They're gorgeous, gorgeous books. And if you just look at one of those, you kind of know what you're getting into, like beautiful full page spreads of really, really well done stuff. And yeah, this is an exciting book, and I'm certainly looking forward to my copy.
When he was on this show, when Joe Pruitt stopped by, you had mentioned, I think it was this show. I've watched a handful of their interviews.
I have them right there. Yeah, right behind.
You were talking about how great the hardcovers were, and some of the people in the comments were even like, "Oh, Desperado art books were always like so beautiful." And Joe Pruitt confirmed, like, the same printer that he's used for all these years, they're going to be the same ones printing. So yeah, these are going to be big, beefy hard books that you could be used as a weapon, but you shouldn't. You should put them on your shelf and keep them nice and pristine. Show your friends. But yeah, that's the Book of Jusko. Another really cool campaign that we're very proud of here at Prana.
Absolutely.
Put a lot of heart and soul into that.
The question here is there a way to see what LCS are available for the credit? So that's one of the beautiful things, is you pick the LCS.
Yes.
So you can actually give it to your LCS, and that credit will be used there.
When the Kickstarter surveys go out, one of the survey questions will be, who is your preferred local comic book shop? We know not everybody has local comic book shops, or maybe there's one an hour away. I know that there are a lot of places like that, and we've talked about that. If there isn't a local comic shop convenient for you, we will work with you and get you a retailer that ships, like an online retailer. We haven't announced a partnership yet, but we got a cool retailer who's said that they'll do this for us. I don't know when we're announcing that, but I don't want to get in trouble and say something. But
I might have a Canadian retailer that could ship for you if you we want to talk about that often.
Nice. Yeah, we definitely should. Because I feel like
ship to all 10 provinces and 11 or three territories.
As someone who's running a few Kickstarter campaigns and I've looked at shipping prices to Canada, it's not
crazy.
Cheap.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, we'll get you the books one way or another, and yeah, if you have a shop you go to, you tell us, and then we will reach out to the shop and order a gift card on your behalf. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's gonna go where you want it to go. I promise.
Yeah, and last but not least, we're gonna repimp the bullet. So make sure that you go to pranadms.com and click on the weekly newsletter sign up. Get you on the bullet. That will come out every Friday. Adam's not allowed to sign off for the week until the bullet is in bed. So you're actually just like encouraging him to work more. So if you want him to suffer for his art, then I encourage you to sign up for the weekly newsletter and get that bullet.
As someone who is working late with Megan and Adam making the graphics and stuff for the but no, it's a cool newsletter and we love being a part of it. But yeah, it does come together Friday evenings, but I kind of love it because I know like Friday after all the BS and when me and Megan and Adam start talking about Bullet, then like the weekend is only a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like, I kind of like the Friday evening Prana get put together, but it is headlines, the links to all these shows, this chat, the full podcast that releases on Thursdays. We give you links to everything. We give you links to all the client stuff we talked about, the Kickstarter pages, books coming out for, we try and make it a easy hub for everybody that loves the show, that loves what we do at Prana, that loves how Brian's trying to save comics and all the shenanigans he's up to. We try and make it a place where you can keep track of everything, and it's not a long read. You can
it's short. Yeah, it's like maybe 10 paragraphs, and it will get you kind of caught up for the week and have a good handle on a lot of the industry news that you may have missed.
You can walk into your comic shops and sound smart.
Yeah, right. Right. And if you're a retailer, you're always sounding smart. This will just make you smarter.
I like that. That's good job, Brian.
Yeah. Awesome, my friend. Well, this was we went a little long in the end, but I
called it.
You did. Yeah. You really, really pimped a lot of things there at the end. They just kept going.
I know. I'm an Energizer bunny.
Comic Shop Assistant is pledging to begin their plans to shave comics. So we will talk to Django very soon about his Gillette plans and his Gillette sponsorship, maybe even a shtick or a Harry's, perhaps, if he's going to be really, really fancy. We'll definitely talk to Django soon about his plans to shave comics. In the meantime, and in between times, just keep pranaing those DMs. See, it doesn't work. It only works when I say keep managing those comics.
Keep pranaing those DMs.
Awesome, folks. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Adam will be back, but this was fun. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. You're going to make me hit the button. I thought you were going to hit the button.
I'll do it.